Hello everyone! My name is Tomas Jimenez Rioja and I am here again with another game to check out. This time it is Cantrip. You should be seeing it over there if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I'll be just checking it out with you as I go along. This is a game created by another fellow Argentinian. Hipolita is, I can't say we're friends because I don't know her much, but I have been following her stuff and I've been looking forward to checking out what she created of this game. I know that there is a lot of witchy stuff, a lot of LGBT stuff thrown in there as well, and I just want to check it out and mostly do a review of the design behind it and just say what I think about it. I'm trying to hype this game up because I want my country to be represented in the TTRPG community. So, let's get started. Okay, so Cantrip is designed by Misha Panarin and art by Celeste Cruz. Credits thanks to Dana and Afro who played this game. Dana is also to blame for getting me into any tabletop role-playing games. Okay, thank you to Ludo, who inadvertently helped me get rid of so many things I did not need. Thanks to Luna, Rachi, Jill, and Wendy, and the rest of the Latam Breakout Gang. Okay, Marina as well, and Matt and Zach, with whom this book would not exist. Designed by Misha Panarin, art by Celeste Cruz, editing by Pampun Salan. Oh, I didn't know that Pampun Salan participated in this. I'm a good friend of Pam. Layout by Francita Soto. Okay, it's based on the Belonging Outside Belonging framework, first seen on Dream Apart by Benjamin Rosenbaum and Dream as Q by Avery Alder, and on Powered by the Apocalypse by Maggie and Vincent Baker. Cool stuff, so we know already that this is a game powered by the Apocalypse. Let's check out the contents. I already am liking it a lot that the index is it's linked. You can just click one of these things and it's going to throw you into one of the pages. You would be surprised how many games don't have this, and it's quite useful when you are with a game. So, oh, there's more. The Adult Witches, Denizens, Town, the Weep, the Academy itself. So, what's all this? Cantrip is a role-playing game about witches who are coming of age while studying at the Magical Academy. They will grapple with their place in the world at large, their emotions, their budding relationships, the expectations placed on them by everyone in their lives, the secrets held by the Academy, and the constant scheming of their fellow witches. The game may be different from other role-playing games you've heard about or played, especially if you're coming from stuff like D&D, World of Darkness, or Call of Cthulhu. Cantrip is a 3 to 5 player game based on Belonging Outside Belonging, yada yada yada. It's designed to excel in a small handful of short 2 to 3 hour sessions, but it's merely a guideline. Ultimately, you decide when it makes sense for your story to wrap. Okay, so it is made for short stories mostly, it seems. During play, you take control of a main character, aspect of the world. There is no game master, but there is one player who will take on the role of facilitator. We'll get to that in a bit. Play primarily consists of conversation with your fellow players. Throughout this conversation, you will frame scenes involving two or more main characters, with different players taking on the role of the various aspects that will provide these characters with surprising opportunities, hazards, obstacles, and challenges. To do processes save. Okay, so these are the facilitator. I would know how the facilitator works. This, so far, I'm thinking it's pretty similar to a Powered by the Apocalypse game, but let's see. One of you, usually whoever is the most familiar with the rules, will take the role of facilitator as usual. Facilitator responsible for gathering the materials needed, helping others learn how to play, and clearing up any doubts about the rules of the limits of what's possible within the game. The facilitator also makes sure that every character is getting enough screen time and that every player is feeling safe and comfortable. These two responsibilities are shared by all players, but the facilitator should be comfortable with taking the lead. much, maybe most of the teaching of the game will take place during play as you develop your main characters, the supporting cast, and the relationships among the world they inhabit. As a facilitator, encourage players to ask questions, but don't shy away from asking questions yourself. Okay, so far it's the person that teaches you how to play. There's no much of a GM standpoint there. That's pretty interesting. The most direct inspiration is Studio Trigger's Little Witch Academia, and you'll find that playbooks closely resemble many of the characters in that anime. Other sources of inspiration include Witch Hat Atelier, the Owl House, the Persona series of video games, and Kiki's Delivery Service. Most tangentially, slice of life anime like Eurocap and Non Non Miyori provide a lot of tonal inspiration. This is interesting. It's also based on the belonging outside belonging framework. It's self-inspired by the Apocalypse and the Powered by the Apocalypse design philosophy. Speaking of PBTA games, Cantrip borrows heavily from the principles of teen amongst the drama in Max the New Generation. So more or less we are starting to get to know how this game works. I am not, I don't know much about the belonging outside belonging framework. Now I'm very interested in checking that out. Well, I think I have heard about it. Still, it's pretty interesting so far, and Max the New Generation is something they took inspiration from as well. She, Hipolita. Overall, it is meant for light-hearted motions of can player and fights can happen, but these witches are mostly inclined to stick together and care for each other. When you begin to play, decide as a group what overall tone you are doing. Do you want a link with Sarah-stakes personal adventures of young witches in a weird world? Do you want emotionally charged mutual explorations of the strange and mysterious? Or maybe you are up for non-stop goofy hijinks? Who knows? We'll get to discover that soon. So it seems that the game encourages you to play however you want as long as you are witches discovering themselves. It's interesting. How do I play? Fill your cauldron. 3 to 5 players, one of whom will act as the facilitator. These rules, writing implements like pencil and papers, things that can serve as tokens like poker chips or coins. 4 per player should be plenty. It's interesting that it doesn't tell you need a character sheet here. And it also says 3 to 5 players. But I also saw someone asking on the itch.io page if this game could be played within 2 players, one being the GM and another one being the, well, GM facilitator, however you want to call it, and 1 player. And Hipolita said that this game does work pretty well with just 2 players. So I'm assuming this goes from 2 to 5 players. 3 to 5 might be the best amount. Let's see, have a chat. Let's open somewhere over here. Let's get out of this mode. Put it like this, so I can take a look at all of this. So, learn the principles. This is the important part. Have a chat. It's like having a conversation. You embody your character's playbook and one of the world's aspects. So this is very like Power of the Apocalypse. You will describe situations and scenes and what the various characters do or say. Tell a story. Getting full into character and saying like, come here, say that to my face if you think you're strong enough. It's just as valid as simply describing your character, provoking an enemy, or curling her fist into a ball. Make some trouble. While this is a low-stakes game where dire issues always have a satisfying resolution, bitter rivalries often turn to friendship, and in which hope and wonder triumph over gloom and doom almost every time. You don't need some sort of conflict to drive the plot forward. Yeah, slice of life doesn't mean no conflict. If you take a look at any slice of life anime or movie, whatever, you will find that they all have one sort of conflict. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a fight. something happens and the characters have to solve it. The Simpsons is a slice of life show as well, and it doesn't mostly have any sort of fight. Gather your coven. Okay, so read out the description for each playbook and let the characters choose which one speaks to them the most, or which one they think they will embody the best in order to tell a fascinating story or other hijinks, wondrous magic and high emotional stakes. Once everyone has chosen, go down the sheet circling choices as prompted. You should talk about your choices as you go. Character creation in Cantrip is a collaborative process, a team effort. Boldly express any cool ideas you may come up with, ask questions on your fellow players if you are looking for inspiration, and try to find narrative connections between the different playbooks. So yeah, just tell them what they can play. We will come back if we need to. Make your move. In Cantrip, the fiction comes first, with mechanics following the action. You are above all telling a story together. The actions you take, the words you speak, and the decision you take should serve the narrative you are developing together. Don't keep secrets and don't be afraid of speaking out of character to say what you want to happen. I really like my characters to sneak out of her room to go flying in her broomstick. It's encouraged. It also lets your friends come up with ways to make it happen that involve other characters. A move is something your character does that is important to them and their identity. The core mechanics of Cantrip are the strong, regular, and weak moves. We'll come back to that in a bit. I'm assuming some moves will ask you stuff. I'm assuming this works similarly to most Power the Apocalypse games, in which you have different moves. Let's see. Regular moves represent your character's most common everyday pursuits, attitudes, and behaviors. When you're not sure what your character will do in a given situation, look at your regular moves. Even the most mundane activity can easily be disrupted by another player making an aspect move. Perhaps the hedge is foraging far for mushrooms as she often does, and stumbles into the monsters from the dawn below, planning a prank. Maybe she messes up on a magic circle in the forest, unleashing some danger onto the academy. Be weird, be clever, be imaginative, be surprising. Okay. So that's what you do when you are doing pretty much most of the stuff. Strong moves represent your characters at their best, showcasing their power, fulfilling their potential, being totally in control of themselves and the situation, rising above the obstacles. Strong moves typically indicate the climax of a scene or an important turning point, which is why they cost a token to use. Oh, now I'm getting where I saw this. This is on the game Thursday as well. The belonging, outside belonging, I think it was called, that I revealed like a month ago. And the weak moves are the opposite of strong moves. They represent the character in danger, vulnerable, or overwhelmed, whether by external hazards or by their own emotional turmoil. Weak moves allow their enemies' plans to advance, trust to be sprung, and luck to turn against you. When you use this, you gain a token. When another player makes a weak move, don't be afraid to make the consequences dire and immediate. They help create conflict and tensions for scenes. Go hard against your fellow witches because they are way stronger than anyone realizes. They shine brightest when they are under pressure. Pretty much, if you are entering into danger, you use a weak move. If you are getting into something that is a strong moment for your character, you use a strong move. Any other kind of move you need to do, you make a regular move. Moves are there to inspire you, not to limit you. Yeah, aspects. When you have picked up an aspect, you are momentarily in charge of embodying that aspect and describing how it manifests in the world at large. Okay, familiarize yourself with the pickup. When stalemate atop your aspect sheet, it lists reasons to start actively playing your aspect rather than your character. If playing your aspect is difficult, something that might happen if you're playing a character in the same scene, you can always trade it away. Either swap with a spare aspect in the center of another player's currently held aspect. You will always have exactly one aspect in front of you. Okay? This is what I want to know more. What is an aspect? Aspects are both proactive and reactive. Academy life is full of surprises, and there are plenty of challenges for young witches to overcome. If there is a lull in the narrative, discuss some way to cause travel for the witches with an aspect mode. Be as creative and weird as you want. We are literally dealing with magic here, so your imagination and whatever you as a group has established about the world are the only real limits you have. Yeah, as most Powered by the Apocalypse games have, you just are limited by your own imagination. Other games like D&D, Pathfinder, and those games are very hard on rules and limit you in lots of ways. Now, when you get into a Powered by the Apocalypse, especially if you're playing one of these games within the belonging, outside belonging framework, you can do pretty much anything, especially in a magic world. Beginning play happens in turns, going clockwise, or soundwise, as the witches will call it. Around the table, when it's your turn, you may do one or three things: narrate a slice of life, frame a major scene, get rid of the academy. Okay, let's see what this means. Narrate a slice of life is a way to catch your breath and maybe a way to decompress after a particularly intense sequence. It lets you add texture, depth, and richness to your character by narrating their way to daily life on a small interaction with another main character or a supporting character who may be played by another player. If you're playing a friend a visit, cramming for an exam, going into a town to shop for supplies, or just winding down, you probably want to narrate a slice of life. Playbook and aspect modes may be used here by anyone, as long as it makes sense. So I'm assuming that the characters have the spotlight, and pretty much within a same session you have a protagonist every so often, changing amongst the table as they tell different stories, or maybe they are telling their own perspective from one same story. That's what I'm getting a grasp on here. Frame a major scene is the most important of the three. It's what drives the narrative and lets the witches shine as characters and as people. It's also where you will use the majority of your playbook and aspect moves. We could take a look at this in a bit, so we don't just keep referring to them and not knowing what they mean. You should aim for about half your turns being used to frame a major scene. Major scenes can be short, decisive moments, like a tense negotiation with the student council, or making a quick escape from a forest. Or large or longer, more elaborate sequences, organizing and preparing the harvest festival, all while figuring out who is sabotaging your efforts and why. When you frame a major scene, you should pose a tightly focused question to the group that establishes stakes and the main conflict. Can we find ingredients for this potion before the time runs out? What is that weird noise coming from the bell tower? Framing scenes in this way allows you to begin immediate rest and cut right to the action. You can always flash back to preparations or retcon something that happened off screen. Yeah, so it is encouraging you to use flashbacks in a way. There isn't a mechanic in order to do that, but you can always do it. The frame a major scene is how the game moves forward. And lastly, these are some other stuff. So at least two main characters to participate in the scene. It doesn't have to be your character, but remember to check in with your fellow players first. Ideally, at least one player should be free to play aspects. Okay, so every turn, one of the players plays an aspect, which works as some kind of GM in a weird way. The same happens with Thursday that I checked out a month ago. As I said, where are you? A classroom, academy, grounds, this town, and the neighboring swamp, an endless library. Is it a familiar location somewhere new? Describe the sensory experience beyond what you see and hear. If a particular taste or smell feels relevant or seems like it will add more immersion and richness to a scene, then it should be described. Who else is here? Representatives of an aspect, an established minor character, or maybe a surprise visit? What is the last thing that has happened? What's at stake? What's the main source of tension? I am picturing that the way you play this game is different short episodes. As you keep creating stuff like NPCs, like secondary characters, you can just write them down on a page or an index page, and you keep them to the side, and you can always bring them back later into the scene. As you keep circulating between the different players playing the aspect, they can always grab one of the secondary characters and pull them back into the scene to just become an NPC that talks with one of the characters. And they can all come up with something interesting for what the players want to play. You should open the scene by making a move with the character. If you don't know what to do, do another participating player or to take another one. Or let the player holding an aspect make a move. Okay, so you always start the game by making moves, and I'm assuming you're always making different moves with a bit of role-playing in the middle. In the major scene, you play to find out what happens. Players who choose main characters are in the scene are free to disengage and enjoy the scene. Otherwise, you should keep an eye out for opportunities to insert themselves into it, either as a main character or play a supporting character or embodying one of the available aspects. So whoever doesn't play can roleplay a supporting character. That's an interesting thing that belonging outside belonging games do have. It pretty much is telling you how to play a belonging outside belonging game so far. When you get red on the academy, you step out of the narration proper for a brief moment. You get a metaphorical bird's eye view of the entire academy and its surroundings, and you get to ask a question, to make a statement, to collaboratively establish a fact regarding the feelings, opinions, issues, beliefs, and values of various communities related to the academy. First, choose a topic to either ask or question, or make a statement about. It might be something that happened in a previous scene, something that has been foreshadowed or planned, or a wider philosophical point. You can frame it as a question: should we make contact with the ghosts who can roam into the library? Is the student council on the up, or are they planning something dangerous? What's the deal with the substitute teacher's hard-ass attitude? A statement: ghosts in the library are dangerous. Student council is about to unveil a new scheme that will make our lives more difficult, yada yada yada. Okay, so every time you get a read on the academy, you can either ask a question to keep moving the story forward, or make a statement. So from now on, that happens. That's interesting because as you keep making different turns on the table, you keep moving the story of this little school forward. There is some sort of, how is this called? I always forget the term. It's like a storytelling. It will come back to me later, surely. Then beginning to the left, each player will express views that one particular community has on the issues. It might be a general description or a subset of characters, such as a third-year students, or named established fictions such as Magical Creatures Labor Union Refoundation. Give a short sentence describing how that feels about the issue at hand. However, keep in mind that views are always opinions and beliefs rather than facts, and there are always exceptions among the number. No group is a monolith. Okay. The first round. That's the last thing. One last thing before we begin. During the first round of play, each player should narrate a slice of life in order to introduce their character on the group and show them in a natural habitat, living their best life, vibing, eating hot chip. I'm assuming you could do some sort of morning routine or something like that to tell everyone how your character will behave in the story. That's a cool tip to give. And now, before we establish a setting, I want to give a look to the other stuff. Let me drink some water because I've been talking quite a bit. And we have playbooks and aspects. Let's first take a look at the playbooks. I'm assuming, yeah, this is a double page thing. Starstruck. Until recently you lived a normal life, then you came by your powers under uncommon circumstances and it changed you forever. Going to the academy was your best choice. The world is new to you. It is wondrous and exciting, but not everyone is happy that you are here. You are called unknowing, somebody born without the gifts. Do you seek friendship or yearn for seclusion? Okay, so yeah, you are the kind of person that just wasn't born with the powers. They were given to them for some reason. Then there's choose a look, make something up. She gives you some tips on how to dress. Choose one, only one spell. Here are plenty of spells, but I'm picturing that you can just decide one. Choose two emotions that completely block your magic. Anger, sadness, hunger, resentment. So joy. Okay, this is very interesting. So if you have one of these things, they are like your weakness in a way. Choose two key relationships. Let's see, my mother who is very excited about me being a witch, my sister who is very jealous of my skills, my roommates who think I am a curious addition to the dorm, annoying at school, the magical creatures who work at the school, the club I joined because it seemed easy, the troublemaker clique, yada yada yada. Choose a pet or magical tool or make up your own. Raggedy broomstick, a mouse that moves through the school's plumbing, tarot deck, and there's a lure. Whenever someone relies on you to fix a problem by applying your knowledge on the mundane, the mortal, or the everyday, they gain a token. Oh, okay. So whenever someone relies with you, they gain a token. So it encourages other players to just come to you for seeking knowledge and opinion and stuff like that. Tips: explore your kindness and humility. Make your character fallible and reliable. Bite off more than you chew. Embody the mortal world. So yeah, it's I'm assuming that most of these playbooks tell you how to play the stereotype. That's very cool, and you can give it your own twist if you like. Questions, ask one to your left and ask one to the right. I always love this sort of stuff to begin with some connections. How did I subvert your expectations of me? What secret part of the academy did you show me? Now, weak moves. Reject magical solutions, cause a massive magical misfire or accident. Lose hope. Establish a previously unknown fact about the unknown and the society. Ask why do you put up with me? Regular moves, touch burning Sam, reveal in no magical pursuits, share your dreams and enthusiasm, cast your spell, ask do you think I'll ever be a witch? So this playbook is very insecure of themselves. And how about strong moves? Soothe someone's pain, get us harm's way, ask how do I make you respect me? I really like that these belonging, outside belonging games have these questions that always move you more into your own archetype, your trope. Makes you be more like that, not hedge. It's a pretty underwhelming name for what you do. You live and breathe mushrooms. You know the name of insects, plants, and body parts better than you know the names of your friends. Your potions may not be the best in the academy, but they are certainly the flashiest and more unpredictable. You miss life as a hedgewit, and feeling of being revered and feared by the academy seems very exciting too. Okay, so this one is the weirdo of the mushrooms. Play to find out how magic and nature relate, whether you'll be able to prove hedge witches are just as good as city witches, what benefits and drawbacks are a solitary life can have. Choose a name, choose a look or make something up. Choose to hedge witch specialties and make up your own. Okay, it's looking at relationships. I won't get a look at everything here, I just want to check out what every of these archetypes do. Then we have the push. Magic has been in your family's bloodline for millennia, and this has earned you the respect, admiration, and envy of many witches. Okay, so this one is the bitchy one that comes out from a rich family. There is a massive, immaculatively kept family tree of awesomely powerful witches, and at the very bottom of the tree is you. You've been given everything you could ever want, but you also bear the pressure of familiar expectations. And ancient traditions and high-class propriety. Your every decision is scrutinized by your family, and at the academy you might find the perfect place to either let everyone know who is in charge here or rebel against aristocratic witch society. That would be unladylike, but it may be fun. Okay, cool. Let's look at the next one. The Breaker. Yeah, magic is cool. It can start fires, cause explosions, shove some nag into a transmissional locker, and much more. Above all, magic is fun. There is no end to the mayhem you cause when you're wielding your powers, and this academy is rife with opportunities for chaos and an audience to watch you excel. So this is the Troublemaker. The Breaker, yeah. I like the art. It's really nice. The senior. Oh, look at this wheelchair. That's cool. You messed up somehow. You've earned the ire of your teachers. Now you're stuck with the first year witches. You should be having fun as a second year, but now you have to guide the new arrivals. What could you possibly have to learn from people who can even fly a broomstick without falling off the saddle? This sucks. It's so unfair. What you did wasn't that bad, was it? You are sure you'll find some way to climb back to your previous position, and maybe having a little gaggle of awestruck young witches to command you were so unpleasant. Okay, so this is the big one who will want like a group of miscreants to follow her. Sibyl. Back home in the secluded mountain atop temple you were raised in, you were at peace. You communed with the spirits, the stars, the threads of fate, the rivers of time, and the soul of the mountain. You swam through the web in wings of precognition, subtly reading figure events and drawing on a deeper understanding that most witches can't even comprehend. Nothing so crass as casting a spell, right? Well, now you've been sent to study, to hone your own magical skills, and your biggest problems involve basic spells backfire and the internet being out. This sucks. Okay, so this one is the one that didn't want to be here. They are like on a timeout in a way. And now we go to the aspects. The adult witches. And the headmistress, the teacher, assistant, and non-teaching staff can make moves. Appear unexpectedly to stop the group's plan. Change the rules without warning. Recruiting the characters to organize a cool event. Provide foolish advice. Enforce strict adherence to tradition. Pick up when you want authority figures to throw a wrench into well-laid plans, or when it's time for some school spirit. Trade away when you want to stop at the teacher's power trip, or you want to have to explain yourself to authority figures. Choose two absurd roles set in stone. Curfew, must wear a witch hat at all times, going to town is forbidden. Okay, so these are like the stupid rules that teachers always lay in wizard stories. Student body. So the students, some new arrivals, some who may have been here for a long time. Many informal hierarchies exist among the various cliques, but nobody would question or the primacy and power of the annually elected student council. Maybe you can try doing a little coup. Okay, so this is like the event to just try to be a troublemaker. Circle some recurrent characters. This is to make someone, an NPC, make an appearance and be important. The denizens. The weird guys. For hundreds of years, the academy has employed goblins, monsters, ghouls, fairies, ogres, and strange creatures to tend the grounds, sweep the floors, fix the plumbing, and even repair magical accidents. Very few of them, if any, are happy with this arrangement. In fact, there may be more than mere resentments stewing under the surface. So this will probably start a revolution. Choose the reputation circle to ourselves, elusive proselytizing, yada yada. The town. So there is a nearby town. Maybe you have to hide your magic. A short hop with a skip away from the academy lies the town. Name it. Regular. Non-magical people live their lives here, mostly unconcerned with the lives of witches, through a more discerning person which find the hidden nooks and crannies where magical items and services are sold, and even regular mundane shops being run by a witch or the down low. So this is a magical town. Oh, I'm mistaken. Mostly unconcerned with the lives of witches. So they are the people that don't know. Just two desires. The weave. The academy exists because magic is inherently unstable and dangerous, and it has a mind of its own. The semi-sentient aspect has been called many names throughout the centuries, but currently it is known as the weave. Similar to how the Forgotten Realms does it in D&D, it seems. It is a source of power for witches, a wellspring from which they tap, a harness project in order to cast spells and draw out the magical properties in plants, animals, objects, and even people. It is also a source of life for the many magical creatures living outside and within the academy, both the helpful and hostile. The academy itself. The weave may have a mind of its own. Witches definitely have a mind of their own, but the thing that really catches most new students by surprise is that not to be undone, the academy itself, its walls, its grounds, everything contained in it, the very space it occupies also has a mind of its own, in constant conversation with 1,000 of little minds that inhabit. Okay. Danger to be playful. And that's it. So this is the comment of a playtester. Cantrip is a fun, emotional game about the young witches and their adventures. While playing it, the familiar witch school tropes that will heartily welcome you well, guiding you through a much more original fantasy world. It evokes the nostalgia of anime friendships, the enhanced drama of high school movies, the bite of fantasy novels, and the cultural significance of witchcraft. It combines all of this seamlessly as presence of a dreamlike canvas over which to create your own take of the witchy world. Nice. Let's get back to see what else we can do with the game, but pretty much we already know how this game is played. No, not this. We were on beginning. No, establish a setting. Let's see. This is the last thing we read. Whether frowned upon, such as a shameful. The academy was literally built next to a regular mid-sized town. There is an uneasy coexistence between the academy and the town, but the relationship is mostly peaceful, in accordance to the pact signed between the townspeople and the witches 1,000 years ago. As part of the fragile peace, the academy has agreed to never erect magical wards or barriers, and it is fully integrated with the electricity, gas, water, sanitization, and the internet service from the town. Okay, so people in the school can't go, or academy can't go to the town and do magic, but they know there is magic in the world. Simple cantrips to wonder spells. Magic exists in many forms. It includes not just spellcraft, but also a study of magical flora and fauna, the ruins of potions, combinations. There is a diagram. Traditionalist witches don't particularly care for the newer generation's more carefree approach that to tenets that they had previously set in stone. Young witches are pushing the envelope on the nature of magic, the role of witches in society, and even gender. The academy has for 1,000 years been inhabited by magical creatures, down by the academy's naturally strong magic field. Some of these creatures are employed by the academy to attend to the most mundane needs of the school. Goblins, ogres, fairies, ghosts, talking animals, and the like are tasked with keeping everything clean and functional, whether the problems at hand are leaking pipes or magical experiments go wrong. I will totally have some of these monsters be classmates because it seems fun. I want a deer, a talking deer, to be a classmate. Which are traditional girls and women, but the newer generations are known for transgressing gender in unexpected ways. They may have more than one gender or no gender at all, or change their gender as often as they change their hat, or have a gender nobody else has. Play around with gender as much as you like and are comfortable with. I really like this openness about just be whoever you want here. You are free to go as you like. Established Academy. How old are the students at Academy? 1. Okay. This is something else that this RPG has. A lot of it is just so you can circle around it and it becomes something that is like that from now on. You get this book in physical format, you circle around the stuff that you like, and it becomes canon to the world. And from now on, every time you play this Academy, even with different players, it doesn't have to be like always the same players. You always use the same things and the school keeps growing, and that's very interesting. The academic calendar, this is something interesting. The school year at the academy has 2 semesters separated by month-long winter break. A semester is 4 months long. Notably, each month has its own special school event. What follows the suggested month-to-month school calendar, but you're free to swap, edit, add, or remove items as you see fit. Each monthly event has seasonal moves available to all witches only during this time at school. They are meant to provide mechanics that drive that specific kind of fiction forward. Month of the Cat, club enrollment, and dorm assignment. We'll move, strong move. Let's see some of this. A spectacularly fail an audition or trial. Strong move. Stressfully recruit 1 or the 5 people you need to form a club. Oh, okay. I am seeing how this works. Yeah. So there are lots of months. Circle 5 visuals or make up your own. Collect 3 things that are in conflict with the academy, or figure out some other conflict. Yada yada yada. Name of the academy. Something mundane. So you circle. And that pretty much is it. Let's travel to the last page. Just so we see, or the start one. Here, Cantrip. Well, I did buy this content. This was not given to me by Hipolita. I just did it because I want to promote Argentinian designers, and because it seemed like a really cool game. And having read it, it is light rules. It is very interesting, and it allows you to do lots of stuff. It's a framework for you to create your own witchy stories. And if you are used to playing games like D&D or Call of Cthulhu, Pathfinder, this is very much more like into role-playing. So games that are very into mechanics might help you a bit more with how you have to do everything. This is like playing with dolls and or on a theater, just acting out what you want to do. You are guided by the moves, but they do not limit you in any way. The way that the turns work so that the game keeps moving forward and you keep adding elements to the story and the school and the characters within it is very interesting for me, because it makes you can just keep making the story even better. It doesn't even need to have like a strong narrative. There doesn't need to be a beginning, a middle, and an end. It can keep going the same way as long as you like, until you get bored of that school and want to start a new one. But yeah, that has been Cantrip. Go back not back, but go buy the book on physical format or digital on the sites that I will be leaving on the comments. If you're on Twitch, you can just type exclamation mark product, and that will be for you. And well, that has been the Cantrip, and I guess I will be seeing you on the next stream. Tune in the next time on Thursday, and goodbye.